Hello there and welcome to episode 1 and only of a Rakarth Mortal Empires campaign. This is intended to be just a playthrough of the campaign, but also a guide at the same time, so you can just check the campaign out if that's all you're interested in, but if you're someone who struggles with campaigns, you can learn how to get a good start, hopefully, from this video. This is just going to be the one episode though, so don't expect to see this campaign continued. So, Rakarth campaigns, what are they all about? Well, we got the usual stuff, Black Ark, Slaves, and Murderous Prowess, but for Rakarth we've got the Monster Pens, which are kind of like Throt's growth vats where you get monsters that can be instantly recruited, although you gather them in a different way. We also don't take Vigor penalties when raiding and have an upkeep reduction to monstrous units, and a couple of other buffs to monsters as well, of course, melee defense, reduction in recruitment time. We're going to do this on very hard on. If you play on any difficulty less, then hopefully everything should work here all the same. So how they play, we got the monster pens, those recruitable monsters. We get them by raiding, by sacking or raising settlements, fighting battles. There's a right that gets them as well. So there's various ways to acquire all the different monsters, and everything else about the campaign is pretty much the same. So we start here just off the Norscan coast. We'll show you the monster pens to start with and all the monsters you can get. We got this little button down here on our army, and here's everything we can get. The Black Dragon, Charybdis, War Hydra, Carnosaur, Mammoth, Bloodwrack Medusa, Stegodon, Manticore, Giant Wolves, Harpies, Feral Cold Ones, and Explosive Goddamn Squigs. So a nice selection of monsters. We got some Lizardmen stuff, some Norscan stuff, some Greenskin stuff, and a few others. So a nice selection of monsters for him to play with. We got a fairly decent army to start with. Going to put the caster in the army so she can provide us the magic. Got an enemy army here to deal with, but we'll get to that. For the settlement, we got a couple of things we can upgrade. We're going to do that straight away. We got the money, so we'll upgrade the settlement. And I'm going to go for the public order building here, just to start counteracting that big public order penalty that comes with playing on very hard. So worthwhile building that nice and quick. Let's take a look at our diplomacy, who we got around us. So we're at war with those Vanaheimlings who we start next to. We'll deal with them quick enough though. And we're also at war with Marienburg, who are a little bit farther away, but they could still be a bit of a problem. So we'll see what happens with those. No one we can really do anything with at this point. We got some trade already with a couple of factions. Could get non-aggression. Nope, not quite. So we won't worry about that for now. Let's just go ahead. We did all our buildings. Let's deal with this little goddamn army and take care of it nice and quick. Now this battle, normally I say to fight these battles so you can get a better result, but this one isn't as easy to win cleanly and without taking too much damage because there is a freaking feral mammoth. So probably best off just taking advantage of that high favor bar. I think in most cases you'll take less damage doing the auto-resolve than you will actually trying to fight it. You've also got the 2 units of javelins that you don't really have anything you can pressure with, so play it safe, auto-resolve this one. We don't get too bad of a result. We lose some infantry health, but nothing too major. Going to take some slaves, try to get some slaves on the board nice and early. And beating this Norscan faction has got us some Harpies, so we now have some units in our monster pens that we can recruit. We're going to do that on the next turn now though, just so we avoid the upkeep for this turn. As there is no hurry, we're not going to attack anyone else this turn, so let's go ahead and advance. Research, only one thing we can do. Skill points, Root Marcher on Rakarth. Wisson's Wild Form. Just take all the obvious stuff, and away we go to the next turn. Now, naturally, I'm just going to try and take the province that my starting settlement is in, so that's this little island, 3 settlements. We're going to be pretty good to take this next one nice and easy, and hopefully they won't build too much of an army for us to take that last one, so we can have a nice, smooth, easy start to the campaign, which we're going to need because things can get a little bit tough. But we get this mission, which is pretty important because it gives us the opportunity to confederate with Karon Kar if we capture 2,500 slaves, essentially. So this is a good one to go for. Karon Kar is just to our west, so it's not too far away. If we can confederate that, that'll give us a nice chunk of land, hopefully, unless they somehow lose it. So yeah, make sure you grab all the slaves. Let's go ahead and recruit these Harpies now. Saved ourselves some upkeep costs by waiting a turn. Should be an easy take on this place. Laughably easy, not really worth fighting this. We'll get the auto resolve and we'll secure our second settlement. Easy enough. Now we get to decide what to do with it. And all of these options have the chance to get Norscan beasts. Because this is kind of Norscan territory, the monsters that we find will be of the Norscan variety. So which territory you're in and where you're attacking and where you take is going to affect which kind of monsters you get. I'm going to loot and occupy this so we can get a good amount of slaves. Got ourselves a feral mammoth from that as well. So we've now got that in the monster pens. But I think we could do with probably recruiting a couple of extra units anyway. Maybe just 1 unit of dread spears just to give us more of a solid frontline look. Maybe a unit of harpies. We got 2 already, although we can get those in the monster pen, so we'll wait for some more of those, I think. We could get the mammoth now, but we'll save ourselves that 360 upkeep by taking it on the next turn. Let's repair this, and we should be good to go. Skill points. Going to look to upgrade some of the monsters for Rakarth when we get the skill points available. Going to take Flock of Doom for the caster. That's always a great spell. Nice little AoE damage. And I think that is us about done. Let's just check diplomacy, actually. See if there's anything we can do. Get non-aggression with these yet? Nope. Bretonians aren't too bad with us. Oh, non-aggression with Bretonians. We'll do that. All the non-aggressions we can get, the better. Could do this with all of the Bretonians, potentially. We can do it with those 2. Probably Corone's the only one we really needed, as they're near us. High Elves. Maybe you can get a trade agreement with them. Nope, they're not having it right now. Mouzilon. Got it with them. Could get trade later, maybe. Start to build some relationships with non-aggression packs, and then we'll go from there. Maybe I can get these if I give them a little Wonga. Take a few dollars. Nope. Okay, no worries. We'll ignore that for now. Let us advance. So now we need to move north once more and take this final settlement. They're building a few units by the looks of it. So there's going to be a small army there potentially. High Elf trade. Oh, okay. They didn't want non-aggression just now, but they want trade. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Making friends with High Elves. Who knew? A little bit of extra income, so worthwhile to do that. We'll try and get a little closer on the next turn. I don't think we can make it all the way there in one turn. But that's fine. We can take the time to replenish, as we do need to do that. We've taken a little pounding in those 2 battles. We're going to move to the edge, making sure we don't go into the red, though. Stay in the yellow so we can keep the replenishment up. We're going to recruit that mammoth. Not yet. We'll do it on the last turn. Save us the upkeep money again. We don't have a ton of money at the start till we get more and more slaves. But we are good to advance. See if anything exciting happens here. This should be all we need to give us a pretty solid start. We'll take this island, we'll take the province, we'll maybe build it up a little bit, and then we'll decide where to go. We've got a lot of options with this campaign. There's a lot of different directions you can choose to go. So we're about ready. Let's get ourselves that mammoth. Got ourselves a lovely mammoth now alongside our war hydra. And let's take it. Ooh, got a little bit of a fight on our hands. It's all infantry though, so it shouldn't be a problem for our monsters. So I'm setting up on the hill. Got my artillery, so I have the ranged advantage. Gonna fall back up the hill a touch. Gonna take our time. Gonna try and use our ammo as much as we can, and then hopefully route most of it off with charging mammoths and hydras. Try to get a good target for our artillery. Who's the most dangerous unit on this army? I'm sure there was, there you go, some Marauder champions. They're the danger. They're a tough unit. Because Marauders and Marauder spearmen aren't too much to worry about. Let's get our big boys out front. Get Rakarth out front. Caster behind, ready with that Flock of Doom. Harpy's going to flank round, try and get the throwing axes. Let's get the right ammo type for our bolt thrower. All should be well. Going to try and use my Hydra breath attack on those champions as well. Try and melt the skin off their faces. Throwing axes in the middle there. Get ready to pounce on them. Bolt thrower firing away. Doubled up unit. Extra pain causing for us. Nice. Got our armor piercing shades as well. They are the great sword version, so they can go into melee. Put out some hurt if they need to. Waiting for this breath attack to come into range. I could try and hit one of these middle units. It might get a couple of units, but I think we'll stick with the champions. Nearly there. Well, they're kind of going off to the right, though, and getting further away. Let's just do it here. Let's try and hit these 2 units. Might get 2 for the price of 1. Go, Hydra! Oh, glorious. Charge Rakarth in. Charge the Mammoth in. Try and terror them off nice and quick. Let's get our Shades firing at the Marauder champions. We don't want to let them do too much damage. They will punch their way through our Bleak Swords if we're not careful. So all we're going to do is hold all this crappy infantry in place, and then let our Mammoths and Hydra hopefully come and fear and terror it once it's beaten up a little bit, lost a bit of leadership. Shouldn't take long at all. Getting some units routing already. Let's get the Harpies on the throwing axes. Should have done that a while ago. Need a little help on this left side though. There is a Lord in the middle, beating up one of our Dread Spears. Need to try and deal with him in a sec. We've broken all of this right side stuff, pretty easy. Let's get after that Lord, and then try and help that left side as well. Keep our Shades firing at a good target. We've disrupted their missiles well, their throwing axes. They could be pretty dangerous to our Large, our Mammoth, our Hydra. So keeping them busy with the Harpies is very important. Shades still going as well. These are very strong missiles, armor-piercing missiles of course. Probably want to get a few more of these in this army, I reckon. Come on, Hydra. I told you to get the Lord, son. Gobble him down. Actually, I'll tell you what you can do. There's a big blob of boys here. Cook them. Cook them all. Oh, glorious. If those two don't rout, I don't know what will rout them. There we go. They're gone. Just got to put a little damage on the Lord, and then I think we're good. Going to send our caster in. Drop a Flock of Doom on him. Just drop all the pain on him. The Hydra's turned around the wrong way. Good. Good. That's what I need. Smart Hydra. Trying to attack him with his ass. Come on. Give it up, Vanaheimlings. Meet your doom. Okay, this battle is all but over. With that, we can now... I think we'll loot and occupy. We want more slaves, really. We could sack and come back, but probably just quicker to loot and occupy. We're going to get Rebellion, but that's no big deal. We can go and farm that little Rebellion. Get some XP for our stuff. Unlock some more Monster Pen units. It'll work in our favour. So Public Order is pretty bad from the looting and occupying, but it's fine. We can get back quickly and sort out those damn dirty rebels. And I'd like to build a second Public Order building, but I can't quite do that yet. Not until that place is level 2 anyway, but that's fine. Rakarth, we're going to start to put points in buffing up the monsters. Lashmaster, Weapon Strength, the Harpies, Hydras, everything else. All the good stuff that we're probably going to have in this army, we can boost it up. So I'm going to put all my points in there first of all until Lashmaster is full, and then start to work on Rakarth a little bit, I think. Got a commandment to use. Income from slaves and growth. I think that'll be the way to go. Public Order obviously is bad, but once we sort out the rebellion that's going to come, we should be fine. We'll steady it out. There's our little rebellion. See what they got. They're going to do anything? Going to make any moves? Make your move. Oh, I think they attacked. Oh, they're besieging one of my settlements. No bother, though. No bother. Oh, we got a mission. If we take Altdorf, we'll get loads of stuff. Stegadon, Black Dragon. We've got to go all the way to Altdorf, though. That's a bit of a tall order. We're not going to worry about that for now. Let's take care of this rebellion. We're going to force march back there, just in case they attack this turn. We can get in range at least, and defend if we need to. I'm pretty sure there's a fairly sizable garrison there, though. Let's have a look-see. Yeah, we're okay. We got some Dark Shards, got some Harpies, some Bleak Swords. They got some Marauders. Might have something good in there, but I think we'll be fine either way, even without the reinforcements. Now, this building, the Forsaken Fort of Nagranath, is important to upgrade because it gives a fair bit of income. It goes from 400, and when you upgrade it, to 800. So a nice chunk of income from getting that upgraded. Worthwhile trying to do that as soon as possible. For our technology, there's a few different options, but I'm going to go with the growth. Best off to take as much growth early as possible. Going to work our way to that Public Order buff as well, just to get that little bit of extra Public Order. Helps out on very hard at least. Maybe these rebels will attack us this turn. They did not. So we shall do the attacking instead. Oh, their armies... They can recruit while they're besieging? What? Their army was not that big just now. These cheating rebels. Luckily, we got plenty to take them out with, so let's do it. Mr. Whippy stands ready. Rakarth in all its glory. Pretty cool looking character. Got the big scar on his face. And if you didn't hear, he's voiced by the guy who played Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. That evil bastard. Now he's taken up a much more dynamic role as an evil bastard. So good to see he's branching out in his career. But yeah, cool to see he's voiced by somebody of note who's been in something on the mainstream popular end of media. And next up, it's going to be Henry Cavill in Warhammer 3. You wait. You wait. He's going to voice somebody in Warhammer 3, surely. Surely they can pay him enough. Maybe he'll be the voice of Nurgle. Who knows? Anyway, Warhound's trying to eat my spears. I'm not okay with that. Hydra, get him. Sick him. Sick him, boy. So I got my little garrison units on the right there. They're just kind of a sacrifice. All of these boys, I don't really care what happens to them. They're just there to kind of cause a distraction, do what damage they can. They'll replenish. They don't cost us any money, so good to just throw them in as meat shields, essentially. Getting rid of these wolves for now, but I'm worried they're going to come back after my artillery or my shade, so we're going to try and protect them. Some armor-piercing boys coming in there, but we've got a breath attack. If we can get it off just in time. No. Oh, he does. Sort of. Kind of cooks my own boys as well, but whatever. It's fine. It's probably fine. Got our mammoth charging around. Got to try and get our mammoth out of there. We want our mammoth to get his charge bonus, really, because mammoths have huge charge bonuses. So worthwhile trying to pull him out to charge him back in again. Harpies at the ready for the flank. See all my half-dead garrison units. They've drawn away quite a few units on the right there. So that's going to save us some time. Make it easier for us to just deal with this larger part of the enemy army. And then we'll have that smaller part coming after us. But that's fine. Get the flank in here. Try to get some leadership penalties. Try to break the leadership of all these boys. Rather than trying to have to kill every single man in the goddamn enemy army. All we're going to do is break their spirit. A mammoth and some harpies all over their face should do that. Although my boys are struggling. Let's try and get their lord dead. Rakarth's taking a fair pound and fighting him. Mammoth saves the day though. Routs him pretty much instantly. Just got that big clump coming in on the right. But we've broken all of this frontline stuff now. The leadership has failed them. Another flock of doom. Not yet. I need a flock of doom on that clump. We'll try and just tie them up with harpies for now. Try and regroup a little bit with what we've got. Form up lads. Form up. Got our shade still. Rakarth's okay. All is well. Just got to deal with this last little clump on the right. The mammoth's coming. You should fear and terror them off fairly quickly. So these early battles for the Rakarth campaign, fairly easy against Norskins. Try to break their leadership more than anything. And you've got the perfect tools to do that with the mammoth, with the hydra. Getting on the flanks with the harpies. Breath attacks from this hydra. Got to do a little bit of damage to Rakarth probably. Oh, did a fair little chunk there. He's okay, though. He's okay. And that is pretty much going to be all she wrote for these Norskins. Just try to keep it cool. Use your ammo. Form up your lines and just charge those large units around to get their charge bonuses. Fear and terror off all those cheap rubbish Norskins. And then you should have a fairly easy time taking the entirety of that island to start with and giving yourself a good old strong start. So that's the first two battles. Assuming you get Rebellion, of course. If you don't loot and occupy, maybe you just occupy. You might not get this battle happen, but it's a good opportunity to get more slaves. So you get the slaves from looting and occupying, and you get the slaves from winning this battle. So it's worthwhile doing it to get all those slaves. And slaves we shall have right goddamn now. And we're going to attack it one more time so we can get even more slaves. Got about 600 so far. So that is very nice. Let's try and finish them off before they get away and cause us any problems. We're a little bit beaten up in the infantry department. Probably going to lose a couple of units. We lost the bleak swords and the dread spears. That's okay though. More slaves. More slaves. Got some harpies as well. Nice. There we go. I think that is a fairly solid chunk of land. We should have some captives now towards our quest. This one, we got 350 of 2,500. That's for the Confederation with Karond Ka. We need those battle captives. But we can take a few turns now. Chill out a little bit. Let's recruit a few more dread spears. We'll have a little bit of infantry. Then we're just going to have a whole lot of monsters. We can get another mammoth now. We can get a bunch of harpies. But we're not going to do that just yet. I do question as well whether you really need, because mammoths and stuff are quite expensive, this Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is kind of taking up a lot of the budget. 175. That's a good chunk of a monster paid for. So I'm going to get rid of that, because it doesn't really suit the playstyle of having a lot of monsters and being really rushy. Like, you don't need an artillery if you're going to rush. So I'm going to get rid of that so I can play a little more rush style, a little more fast, a little more aggressive, and not have to worry about protecting my artillery at the back. And I can save some money and put it towards a monster instead. So could do that earlier on if you wanted to, but I've done it now. Money's been fine. I need to create a building. I want to get a hero. I can get the master from this line. So I think I'll build this, and then we can get ourselves a hero who can go and scout around and see where is going to be the best area to attack next. Another skill point. Could go for the Scourge Runner Chariot to give him a mount, but I'm not going to do that because I do eventually want to put him on Brachus, and those skill points are going to be wasted if I put it on the Manticore or the Scourge Runner, so I'm just going to keep Rakarth on foot for a while. He'll be fine, just got to look after him a little bit. It's only level 16, we're already level 6, so shouldn't take too long to get to Brachus. We'll put Lashmaster points in, and maybe one into Rakarth himself. He was getting a bit beaten up in that last battle, so don't want him to get too pounded every time. He needs some toughness to him. Going to take Wild Heart for the caster for a little bit of extra magic. And then we should be... Oh, she's got 2 points. One in Flock of Doom then. And I think we're... Actually, we got some rights. We could get a Black Ark right now. But this would just be a big expense and a loss of a lot of slaves. So not going to do that just yet. like I say, I'm going to chill out, stabilize the economy a little bit, get my money up, get my public order up, and then decide where to go and attack. There's a few different options you can go for, and you do have to be wary because you kind of can end up a little bit surrounded sometimes, and it's a bit of a tough spot because you can't really afford to stay back and defend, but you do need to push out and start raiding and attacking some surrounding enemies. So you start a war with Marienburg. Sometimes they come over after around maybe 3 or 4 turns from where I am now. Marienburg send a big army over here, so you have to watch out for that. Later on, the Norskans declared war on me as well, and they started sending armies over, so I had some trouble from them. I don't know if you can maybe try and make friends with them, or you're probably not going to make friends with Marienburg. And also the High Elves, sometimes they came over before and attacked me, but this one obviously got a trade agreement, although this is unfriendly and deteriorating. So a good chance they're going to come to war with us in a minute anyway. So yeah, you're a little bit in the middle of a whole bunch of enemies that don't like you. In one playthrough, I came over here and I took Marienburg and all this side, and it was okay. And I didn't really get too pressured from that, so that kind of worked. But it did leave me very exposed in my homeland, and I had to keep trying to build armies here. It was a bit of a struggle. I did try going to Norska as well and attacking there, but there's so much chaos corruption that you can't walk there without getting attrition, so that made it hard to go there. And then you got the High Elves, who are a good option, but then they're so far away, and then your homeland's undefended. It's a bit of a tough spot. But it seems like a good idea to build the garrison buildings in all of your settlements in your starting province to get those extra units to protect in case those Norscan armies and things come down to get you. So there you go. A fairly strong start in Rakarth's Mortal Empires campaign. Make sure you get those slaves. Make sure you don't buy the monsters too early so you're paying for them on turns where you're not even going to need them because they're instantly recruitable. So we don't need to recruit them until we actually need them. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the future.